Hi and welcome to ZSR. Today we have the Z2R Standard Tournament lower bracket semi-final game 2 with traiLZ versus Sparkles. Today in the commentary booth we have Elendar and Mirai. Say hello, you two.
Hello everyone. Hello Elendar. How are we doing for game 2 here?
I mean, you can't help but be excited. We're down to the last 4 players, and after today, maybe 3, maybe we got another race. I'm hoping for more races in general.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are hoping for more races in general. Game 3s can be nerve-wracking, let me tell you all about that. But yeah, traiLZ up 1-0 here. Sparkles lost the previous race, and so he is going to be fighting tooth and nail to win this one, I'm sure. traiLZ can absorb an extra loss, but traiLZ is a pretty good player here, so I don't know. I don't know what we're going to see tonight. We're hoping for shenanigans, regardless of whatever we see, that we want shenanigans.
Yeah, I mean, my favorite kind of shenanigans is vanilla, as always, but we'll see if we get any of that.
Yeah, vanilla shuffled can be a lot of fun. Aaron in chat, they're saying entire seed is vanilla. Oh, vanilla unshuffled? No, that would be terrible. No, wait, no. Let's shuffle it up a little bit. It's the randomizer after all. We'll be off here shortly. Short stream delay, and we'll be off.
Get a quick check of what looks like Parappa Cave and a P-Bag Cave right off the bat too. Still way too early to tell what the biome is, aside from clearly not vanilla.
Yeah, you are slightly ahead of me, so I'm going to go ahead and refresh.
I'll refresh too, just make sure we're in sync.
We are in P-Bag Cave currently, according to what I see. We see a glow-in-the-dark Sonic, and we see a Link over here. Sparkle's just slightly ahead, dealing with this red Dyra, although dealing with it with his body.
Okay, I'm synced up again. Yeah, traiLZ with those really, really good push the enemy up against the wall double stabs very quickly, taking down the red Dyra. Sparkles taking a death. This is an open enough room. You could reasonably fight it or just sort of try to Dyra jump over it and be like, all right, forget it. I'm just going past you.
Yeah, this is one of those enemies in this spot where the learning neutral jumps and knowing how to do that across the tops of the pillars so that you don't push that Dyra back and you can just jump over him and keep going if you don't want to fight him. That's where learning neutral jumps is invaluable in a dark cave like this early on.
Yeah, Sparkle's taking a game over. We'll see if he decides to go back in. It looks like he's going to go elsewhere. traiLZ did get a raft from that, so if that ends up being our only way off the continent, that's going to be a big time loss for Sparkles, but also could be completely useless.
Yeah, you never know. You gotta see more of this continent, more of these biomes here. We could have 2 useless connector, or I guess we can have 1 useless connector only, but could be our raft. We'll have to wait and see. We got a hint for the candle there. I forgot what that was. Rebanak? Was that Rebanak with the candle?
I didn't quite catch it. We got Saria for Sparkles with a fairy spell, and traiLZ picks up traiLZ here. Or Thunder here. traiLZ with the traiLZ spell.
traiLZ picking up the traiLZ mix. Oh, it's Karak with the candle.
Okay. So 2 out of 3 spells already accounted for here in the West.
Yeah, I wonder if it's going to be a Bagu sighting on this side of Saria, or if this presumably vanilla-like biome is what it's kind of looking like here, is going to kind of work our way around clockwise in a U shape here. Or maybe we find the boots.
traiLZ is taking this road down to this next segment. I think Parappa Cave also led you here. Got a 3 or 6. And all right, I was going to say there's got to be something else. Okay, so that's the exit to Parappa Cave.
It was looking a little barren. Like, how do we get off this little area here?
Yeah, so this bridge going to be mandatory. Quick check, make sure there's nothing up north. But
we also got the hammer blocked cave there. Or boulder blocked cave there. I don't know if we saw something that led to the eastern side of things there. I'm not sure.
No, that's definitely going to be an item cave or a transport. There's nothing corresponding with it on the other side.
Okay, that would have been during my refresh segment there where I missed that little part of the starting.
something to mark on your tracker. Keep remembering, especially for Sparkles. Now that's 2 items that he's surrendered. He's having a really tough time with this early combat, though. Still 1-1-1.
Yeah.
Nothing's given that much experience. Trail's got a lot of his experience from that red Dyra, but that early Dark Cave combat can be very difficult. Here's Sparkle's going to try and grind out some XP here at 3 or 6. Apparently not, just 1 attempt.
Yeah, that Dark Cave combat is something that really is really needed in order to increase your level of gameplay as a runner in this game, especially. If you don't have that, you just take way too much damage. You can't push through caves, as Sparkles has shown us that red Dyra in that one spot really just acted as the one gatekeeper to the entire cave. And so he's going to have to come back just because that Dark Cave combat was a little messy early game for him.
Yeah, especially with vanilla being in the possible flag sets. Dark Cave combat, if you do vanilla, there's a lot of the time one of your required items is going to be right off the bat in Medicine Cave down there.
Yeah.
And if there's a red Dyra hanging out in that corner, you really need to be able to beat it.
Yeah, or a red Dyra guarding, say, the little pedestal area where the trophy is found. There is traiLZ just picking that up, showing us that area. But if there's a red Dyra there and you're not ready for it, that's a whole cave walk every single time you take that death.
Yeah. So traiLZ finds in Trophy Cave a 500-point bag. If Sparkles can get down there and pick that up, that's going to be a huge help to him in sort of catching up on experience, getting to more reasonable levels.
Yeah, am I mistaken? Did we just see a connector somewhere? Did I miss that? I looked away for just a moment. On traiLZ side there?
Maybe. And then he left it pretty quick.
I want to say, okay, that's what it was, Maze Island. I thought I saw a change of scenery in the overworld there for just a brief moment.
Yeah. Okay, so Maze Island via connector out is good news for Sparkles. That raft isn't necessarily going to hurt him immediately.
Yeah, not immediately, but it could be Maze Island to raft to wherever at that point. Still plenty left to look around here on the west. We've got, there's Jump Cave, but we've got, what are we missing? We're missing Medicine Cave, Magic Container Cave, Heart Container Cave, I think, right? We've seen Pillar, we've seen Trophy, we've seen Grass Tile, so we've got the other 3 caves remaining.
Yeah, we know one of them is going to be blocked. Sparkles finds, names are hard, Fairy Town, whatever it's stab.
You're not allowed here, man. I'm a little rusty myself. It's not.
That's another rock blocked item cave there too.
Oh yeah. Oh, it could be a connector as well.
Yeah, we've only seen one of the connector caves, but Sparkle's finding out that Reflect is in that town, but he decides to hold off on visiting it until he can get enough. Did he pick up Fairy?
No, I don't think, actually, the tracker says the traiLZ has it. I don't think traiLZ has it because Sparkles just grabbed Bagoo, and so he'll be able to go across Saria if he up and A's and goes back. But we do see that backwards jump cave, so I wonder if we're going to see traiLZ take this right now. Yeah,
this should also lead to both these connectors that Sparkles near theoretically could lead to the other side of Saria as well.
Yeah, but go ahead.
I was saying Reflect being required behind the medicine, but Sparkles choosing not to get the hint for it immediately. I'm assuming he wants to just try and get Fairy and then come back for it, but it's you're really committing to making sure that you come back there.
Yeah, I was going to talk about these levels here as traiLZ is pushing through this reverse jump cave 334 now. He just got that life level, and Sparkles at 223. I think he also just got a life level a second ago. He's got Bagoo, and now you see that backwards jump cave. That's 3 screens. What do you think is in there? If you think there are red Dyras in there, they're going to mess you up on screens 2 and 3. We already saw non-red Dyras so far on traiLZ's side, but Sparkles doesn't know this. What I'm thinking is that if I was Sparkles in this situation, I'd be taking that Bagoo note and I'd be going across Saria from the top side where jump cave's likely going to spit me out. But first, I'd probably get that hint from Mido.
Oh, Trill's finding out that he took the wrong pass-through cave. That's big old dead end without boots.
Wow. Okay. Well, then that is the play. Ultimately, then is to take Bagu across the top. It looks like.
Yeah, Sparkles. I don't mind Sparkles' decision just to check these caves and make sure that he picks up all of the item caves that he can. Make sure fully clear this section of the west out. Then take your up A, probably just straight out of this cave, and take Bagu across.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't realize he hadn't seen Trophy Cave yet, but there we go. There's all the. I think that's all the access we have on this side, other than that hint that at this point, like might grab that hint. Mito's kind of far away, and there's only 2 caves left at this point: my Medicine Cave and Magic Container Cave.
Yeah, we've seen 2 rock blocked caves. Decently likely that those are it. I mean, one of them could still be a connector.
Yeah, very true.
If I'm Sparkles, I'm checking off all my boxes. I've seen 2 rock. Okay, he's going to do some Maze Island checking. This is perfectly reasonable. But I got it in the back of my head. When am I going to do that up A, get fairy, get down stab? Because the further you start getting away from that process, the more you're potentially committing yourself to, you go into Maze Island, you see that bridge, does that go east? And now you're searching out most of the seed without down stab.
Yeah. What was that for the boots? The hint for the boots right there? I caught it for boots, but I didn't see where they were.
I missed it as well.
Paging chat for where those boots were, that hint. Go west. Okay, so go west is definitely at this point, like you've got some options. This is what I'm getting at, is that, like you say, fairies in the back of your mind, sitting here, or this cave as well on Sparkles' side. Totally forgot about this, but fairy sitting in Saria, that you've got Bagu now. You got to go get that. And Maze Island is down there by Mito. I completely forgot about Maze Island, to be honest with you, as we were talking about this. So now it looks like Bagu, get fairy from Saria, get across there, look for the boots real fast, whatever else is in the last 2 caves, assuming we have access to that. We might not, based on those boulder block caves we saw. Then head back down to Mito, get your down stab, get your hint, get yourself onto Maze Island, saw the Maze Island bridge there, which is going to take us Death Mountain or east or somewhere, and get moving at this point.
Yeah, trails with the alternate route instead of finding Bagu. Trails took the Guma sits on the cross. Okay, not looking for an item in 5.
Quite uncomfortable, I'll tell you.
Yeah, but Sparkles taking Bagu. Trails not finding Bagu, but just searching that other pass through did not lead to a boots block. Did lead him up to what looked like, if I recall correctly, the other 3 or 6 and the backside of Saria. So Boulder Runner's going to be high-fiving in just a second.
Look at that. I've had this happen to me. I'm sorry. There's a little bit of a bug there. We've got the 2 hints in the same spot, don't we? Or do we not? They were both getting the hint about the cross. Oh, I thought they came from the bot and the guy at the front.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's almost like something gets duplicated there. I think I've seen that before. Maybe we'll see Sparkles check it on the way out. Yeah, same hint, different people. Exactly.
Yeah, to answer a question from chat there is going to be a lower bracket finals. The winner of this series will go on to face Animus in the next round. And then the winner of that match will, go on to face some guy. I can't remember his name.
He's a newcomer and he's hot. I'll tell you, he's good. He's good and he's lucky. He's looking very lucky actually out there. So we'll see.
I hear he already beat traiLZ earlier in this.
Okay. Oh my God. No, it was sheer luck. All right. It was sheer luck. We both played that seed quite terribly. And it was sheer luck who was going to take that one. I'll tell you if you look at that race back, my God, it's a very sloppy seed race from both of our sides. I just want to stay humble and put that into perspective there. It was a close one. Yeah, Sparkles did pick up the raft on his side from P-Bag Cave there.
All right, so traiLZ with his fairy spell up to Magic 4. I didn't quite catch how much it was. I know we had 1 cast at Magic 3, but presumably he feels comfortable enough with it to go on in and do P2, which is sometimes one of the longer palaces.
Yeah, I mean, I'm digging in here myself, I think, as well. I like P2. Easy final boss for the most part. You're not going to run into any Doom Knockers in 2, so you're not going to have a bunch of Doom Knockers that you're going to have to jump over. traiLZ doesn't have downstab yet, right? He's just been on the top side here, so he's been back down to Mito with Fairy, so he does not have downstab. So trying to get over those Doom Knockers in Palaces 3, 4, and 6, although, there... Well, it seems like he still has some options. Anyway, that's my story. I like 2. 2's a good palace.
Yeah, a really good bit of game knowledge. Gonna get a quick fairy check, hopefully, for Sparkles. Nope, he did hit Magic 4. A neat piece of game knowledge from traiLZ. While fighting a blue Iron Knuckle, traiLZ used Thunder, even though he needs his fairy, because he knew that there was a jar drop in the room that he was in, and P2 guaranteed to have a jar drop, not even a 50-50, and that glove block not required to beat the palace.
Yeah, we'll see if the item is available. If it's not, then it'll be glove blocked and it won't be the glove.
Yeah, items that are not the glove are of decreasing value. We know the boots are not in here. We know it can't be the glove if it's glove blocked. And really, I think at this point, the hammer, maybe the magical key. I don't think either of our runners, though, have checked the hint yet for where that medicine is. And the medicine would be a huge find.
Yeah, very true. But yeah, the flute in hand, in case we see a 3-eyed rock in the east, we already got that. Boots hint on the west, although, like you say, could be a boulder blocked cave. And I think we've confirmed that at this point. We've seen traiLZ has shown us, beyond Saria, Sparkles has maybe shown us that as well, that it does seem that we've got our 2 hammer blocked caves as our last 2 item caves, correct?
Yeah, very, very likely. Do we see a site? I don't think, have we seen a sighting of the second transport cave?
No, but it's not guaranteed to be on the west, though.
Yeah. Could be like an east to Death Mountain connector.
Yeah.
Get the old super linear seed. Maze Island takes you to Maze Island takes you to the east, and then you gotta go find the cave to Death Mountain, and then something important is in Death Mountain, and you hate yourself.
Yeah, and that's kind of like looking at the biomes, trying to figure out where the connectors are and what they look like, trying to predict what the Eastern continent's going to be. We haven't seen a raft tile yet, and our Maze Island bridge is on Maze Island. So if we see a raft tile, it could be Maze Island Bridge to a Vanilla East or Vanilla Shuffled East to Maze, and then the raft tile would be there and probably take us to Death Mountain at that point. Those could be our additional connectors. But then again, that Eastern biome could have the same connectors and not be vanilla at all. So,
yeah. So traiLZ moving on to another palace. Sparkles heading down. I think he is just going to make a beeline for that hint and his downstab, which I definitely like.
Yeah, we have determined that P2's item is glove blocked behind that right hand path, and now we're in P5, and this is the item from traiLZ.
traiLZ with a cast of fairy, and it's like 70 plus. Oh, and somehow traiLZ forgot that Guma sits on the cross, or he just really decided he wanted it, but he now has it.
I was wanting to see more of Maze Island there from Sparkles' side. I hope we get back there soon. We don't know anything about the items there. We don't know anything about the palace there. It's still a giant mystery at this point.
Yeah, it's kind of weird that Sparkle. It looks like he may have just forgotten where that town was. Yeah, okay. Where's he going? I really like the Maze Island play, but get your hint, get your downstab first.
Did we see him in Mito? Man,
Yeah, we definitely saw him find it.
I feel like I'm off my game here in the commentary. I'm missing all kinds of stuff. It's right here in front of me on these two screens. I swear I'm watching.
He got it. We were so busy watching traiLZ fight these palaces that he did in fact pick up his downstab. I'd presumably get his hint that we unfortunately have missed because we're very attentive commentators.
Yeah, it's probably about the 20-minute mark is when the engine's warmed up and we're paying attention. So anything that happens before 20 minutes is kind of up in the air, low efficiency on tracking. Or commentary. Sorry, trackers.
Nice. traiLZ sniping that Moa out of the air, giving him just enough XP to be able to cast Fairy, and wow! Really went down at Magic 5.
Yeah.
It's that might even be 3 casts. I didn't get a numeric value on it, but
wow, that's gonna be close, yeah.
Going from 1 to 3 casts is huge. And oh no, that drop into key requirement, and it looks like this is a loop the traiLZ is now stuck in.
Well, at least he got that fairy cost down. That's a big benefit. Although, if Sparkle stumbles upon the magic key here in Maze Island, it kind of negates that magic leveling early on.
Yep, bit of a miss from traiLZ, accidentally casting Thunder at the bottom of this elevator instead of Fairy has to take it up a. We're gonna see our first item here in Maze Island from Sparkles. Okay, there's the hammer.
Oh.
That's a big pickup. Gonna probably reveal 2 additional items.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about that hammer. If I was Sparkles, be like, okay, good. That clears out those boulders, those mysteries on the west that you might end up leaving behind, but now he hopefully won't.
Yeah, especially because he knows that he's going to need to up A at some point. Even if he finds, even if he decides to clear this palace and he finds the east and he clears all of that, he's going to have to up A back to the west to clear palaces at some point. And being able to make sure that the next time you go back, you can definitely get all of it is going to be very nice. Just a child, not going to be required, but could be helpful.
Yeah, it might be shield if they want it. Might be jump. It would be nice if it was jump, I think. I mean,
yeah,
I
I don't know if Sparkles can do up stab skip, but I know traiLZ definitely can.
Yeah,
be interested in a jump spell for that reason.
Oh, look at this fun. Wow.
Oh boy.
Well, there's a cave, like if he just heads back in there, that cave facing west was absolutely something. It was either Hammer Cave or our connector.
Yeah, for people who aren't familiar with the way the Rando generates Death Mountains and all sorts of places, we do have the flag always turned on where caves lead in the direction they point. So if you go east into a cave, you're going to head out somewhere roughly east of where you started. But since that cave to the west points out into the edge of the map, we know that it's definitely a pass-through or a hammer cave, which I'd be very interested to see.
Yeah, because if it's Hammer Cave, then that means, assuming we have our west mapped out properly at this point, that means that the cave to the east is going to be buried in Death Mountain somewhere. And it looks like the boots are going to help us there. So maybe Sparkles is going back for the boots on the west, possibly. Although oh no, there's our other cave right there.
Oh wow!
I lied. It's on.
Completely missed it. It's very weird seeing that in the center like that.
Yeah.
The way the terrain generation works, it tends to put things a little bit more towards the edges, but I think it's because the river is there. But we're gonna see in just a bit. I mean, I'd be very tempted still just to take it up A and try and get those boots. Especially if you do have to make that dig through Death Mountain.
Oh.
Okay, so the raft definitely required.
Oh yeah, totally forgot about that raft. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Okay. So
it's going to be our only way to the east, and it's going to be somewhere in Death Mountain. And again, just even more reason I'd want the boots right now. Like the raft could very easily just be straight east when you come in through that first entrance. And if that's the case, right? Like, and especially because if you do end up, okay, so the second entrance completely useless, and Sparkle's thinking, yeah, he's just gonna up A. No reason to backtrack that. Go get your boots. The boots will help him get to the way the river is laid out in Maze Island. He can get to the raft very easily with the boots. Meanwhile, traiLZ continuing to hack away at quite a long P5.
Yeah, so we got a reading there. 20. Okay, Cemetery says it as well. It's 26, I think, at Magic 5 for Fairy.
Okay, 26 is 3 casts.
Right now, looking at this seed, though, with the way everything's laid out, I really feel like this play, I mean, what traiLZ is doing, I think is the absolute right answer, unless for some reason he finds glove blocks without the glove. And I mean, we did in P2, but we don't know if the item in P2 is even going to be useful with, as you had mentioned before, the dwindling pool of useful items remaining here in the seed that we could find. And so what are our 3 palaces in the West? We've got 5. We have 30. It's 36, 3 or 6, 5 and 2.
And 2.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
So as long as you can reach Guma and as long as you can reach the boss in 3/6 that we have yet to discuss, that yet to explore, then you're just kind of off and you're moving along. And the only reason to come back to the West at this point is just to turn in medicine, get reflect, hit Maze Island, and then go back to the East. Although I can understand maybe trying to go East first and get that stuff and then come back to the West. I mean, I don't know. I like traiLZ's play right now. I'm an early Palace digger myself, so maybe I'm biased, but yeah, right now everything kind of points to get in palaces, especially with this cheap fairy cast.
Yeah, as a not early Palace digger, I could say that I like Sparkles as routing with going to pick up these boots. He's going to be a little bit behind in palaces, but although I'm still just having not checked that hammer cave is it's probably not going to be relevant given he found the hammer.
I absolutely feel you.
Card items, but
yeah, it's something I wish we had a little bit more information on Sparkles' side on perhaps a spec rock sighting if it was nearby the entrance that we could move around in Death Mountain there, and maybe what was in Hammer Cave, but I don't know. I don't know what's going to be in Hammer Cave at this point.
Yeah, the other thing,
maybe the glove.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has come down to, I mean, some of it's personal preference. I know traiLZ likes clearing palaces early, and he's certainly doing it. But some of it too is just a function of the difference in quality of these magic levels, right? Having only one cast of fairy makes me I'll go into like a P1 or a P2, but P5 with only one cast of fairy is a great recipe for eating up 20 minutes to achieve nothing.
Yeah, I do agree there. I would probably, if I saw the expensive fairy cast, I would probably continue to explore, but really dump levels into magic to try to bring that down ASAP to see, kind of map out whether it's going to come down, that fairy cost is going to come down at magic 4 or 5 or even 6. If it's waiting all the way until 7, it's like, wow, okay, maybe I just keep exploring for a little bit.
Yeah, the big good news for Sparkles is that those boots were in the first glove block cave instead of the second glove block cave, because it meant that he now having the benefit of those boots is going to be able to navigate around the West much quicker.
Yeah, Sparkles is about to hit a dead end. Not too much further into this. Oh, he's going to just simply gamble on the item in 2. Okay, that's the right play as far as we know. Without having the glove, you can't get to it. So he's out, and he's going to be into 5 next door. Maybe he'll walk over to 3/6, which traiLZ has just walked into himself now.
Yeah, we did see attack 4, which I don't blame him for, but he doesn't know that Magic 5 is actually fantastic.
Yeah.
He's thinking about that Keydor decides, I'm just going to check this left. That's the danger of doing these, especially the longer palaces early with only one cast of fairy. Is it is guaranteed that you can navigate through all of the palaces. It is not guaranteed that one cast of fairy will be enough.
Yeah, I think the item was simply to the right and up, and I think Guma was over here to the left at some point. So if Sparkles stumbles upon Guma and is able to take him out, I wonder if he'll take another gamble on whatever's in P5. If he remembers, because we got the hint, if he remembers that it's just a cross.
Yeah. He does not have it marked on his tracker, despite having got that hint. So we'll see.
Getting our confirmation there that we are in P6 on traiLZ's side there with the windows, the jail bar windows that we see, not in this room that he's in, but in the previous one, and we'll probably see in some future rooms as well.
traiLZ with the jump directly over the flame rather than the short hop, and pretty quick Barba here.
Oh, you know what? You're right. Coming back to what I just said, Kuma being to the left, I'm not sure that's true because this is the loop around, isn't it? That traiLZ had seen and is actually off to the right somewhere. So yeah.
Yeah, I think Guma was, you have to go right and then right and then up was the item. And then you have to go, I think to get to Guma, you had to go right and then through a giant linear path that was most of the rest of the rooms. Ooh, traiLZ accidentally eating a key. Could have, one of the notable properties of that room is you could just fly over the door and save the key if you're going to have to use fairy.
Yeah, I absolutely love that about several of the palace rooms, including this barber room, have that option to kind of avoid a door, and if you've got another spell to do it, and just save that key if you need to.
Well, Sparkles has found the item room and is going to do the same thing traiLZ did, where he needs to take a death, only to get that cross. And he's not taking it up A, which, I mean, it's a little spooky. You know, you already used 2 of your 3 casts, and he's at 0 experience right now, so it's gonna be a little far away. I think his next level is Magic 5 at that 1250, but
I think so as well.
It's quite a way off.
So traiLZ is not going to leave the item behind in 6. He's up in a different direction here, backed out of Barba's room, and is looking for the item. So I guess we'll find out if we can reach it or not. This is an elevator for him and another left here, but we'll see if this reaches the item room. No, not yet.
Yeah, I don't blame him. You know, you want to be done with the West and not have to come back to it, but without a glove hint, it's scary to leave any palace behind.
Yeah, and especially seeing a glove block already, it's entirely possible you see more beyond this point.
Yeah, if traiLZ can fish out the item here in 6, then he'll be guaranteed that the gloves are not here in the West, and he can just move on to Maze Island.
What do we have remaining for spells here? We've got Shield, Jump. Because we had Fairy, Thunder, Reflect, all on the West, as well as what's the other spell we got here in the West? I don't remember.
I don't remember if we saw it. I know. I think traiLZ found it and got what it was, but I sort of stopped. You know, once you have the required spells, it's sort of like, okay, well, everything else is just nice.
Yeah, I guess it would be Rudo, because it was Saria, Fairy, Mito, Reflect, and Thunder for free in Raru. So whatever was in Rudo, I don't know if we're coming back for it. Nobody looked for the hint for the trophy as far as I can remember. So it's probably not going to be that important. We have the Child that is on French Vanilla Maze Island today. And that's really, and I guess the Hammer, if we have a new Kasuto block in the East. So I guess we're kind of equipped. We're ready to pick up any spell that we need from the Eastern continent, assuming we want to. I don't. Again, it's not going to be a required spell, but it would be just quality of life type stuff.
Yep, and at this point, it's going to be fully down to where's the glove and how fast can our runners clear these palaces.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see if traiLZ starts to take some gambles beyond 6 here. If the glove's not here, he's spending a lot of time in here. This would be a palace that you would, if you felt behind, I might just take a gamble on 6 and be like, all right, we found Barba pretty quick. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, because definitely with how fast traiLZ found Barba, it would be a pretty reasonable game. All right, here's Gilmore for Sparkles, but he is on his last life and no safeties, so gonna have to be pretty careful here.
Well, what kind of sucks here is with last life, meaning he can't even get through the door. Bosses are not dropping keys, are they? I guess I haven't been paying attention to that.
I think they are.
Okay.
Oh, but they're dropping seven. Remember that they are dropping jars, and Sparkle's taking a game over, and this is a big part of why I like holding off on palaces as long as I can, especially holding off on 5. I understand that you want to win a race against traiLZ, you gotta take some risks, you gotta go fast, but man, that game over is gonna cost him.
Yeah. Yeah, this is, I mean, we're at the stage, we're at the last several matches here of this entire tournament. And if you're not putting yourself in uncomfortable positions, you might be ending up way behind because you're playing against aggressive players like traiLZ, and he's in palaces. And if you're not in there as well, especially that P5 on the West, I was going to make a comment about that P5 on the West. If you see that, it's hard to pass it up. You want to pass it up at earlier levels, but you may not really have that option. You may have to dig that, and again, put yourself in an uncomfortable position and force yourself to do that lower resource Guma that may take you out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, well, we're going to see real quick here. If this is the glove for traiLZ, that's going to be better for Sparkles in that he, is going to almost certainly check it. But just a hard container for traiLZ. So another possible time for Sparkles to gain some time, just skipping out on items. But man, that it's I think Sparkles went from pretty reasonable in this race to definitely behind at this point.
Yeah, it's also unfortunate the two largest palaces that we have, maybe even Palace 2 would be a little big as well. 2 and 4 are kind of medium to medium large, depending on the way that the randomizer rolls them. But we knew 2 was fast anyway. We're already done with 2. But 5 and 6, trail is showing us that 5 and 6 are pretty large, at least not to get the bar, but it's not that long. But if Sparkles gambles on this item or not, we'll see if he ends up digging for a while looking for that item. Otherwise, these long palaces, not really that amazing to have to do early on the West here.
Yeah, and still no Magic 5 is putting him under some pretty serious key pressure.
Yeah, and I wonder how long it's going to be before he gets that Magic 5. We did see 200-point orange Magos in the Drippers in Palace 2 and 5. So I don't know if Sparkles, he saw that, but he didn't stick around to grind them. So I don't know.
Yeah, no, if it was me, I knew that it was only, I was only 4 or 5 Magos away from Magic 5 when Fairy was this expensive. I'd be like, all right, I'm doing a little bit of grinding. And then I'd regret it when it took forever. And Sparkle's finding Barba quite a bit faster than traiLZ did.
Yeah, so to recap this, we've got Mito Medicine blocking our Reflect today, unless, of course, Fire ends up being combined with Reflect. But then again, Fire is in Rudo, so both of those blocked by an item, I would imagine we'll probably just beeline for the Medicine when we get the chance to.
traiLZ picking up his down stab. Gets his Medicine hint is in the east. So it's sort of basically had to... It's just telling us that it's not in one of our few remaining palaces at this point. We'll see if Sparkles just leaves on this palace. If he just leaves and says, forget it, he's made up, honestly, more time by doing a quick clear of skip and skipping the item than he lost to that game over.
Yeah, I mean, this is the play... And that one heart container is not going to help him on Guma. It's still going to be a 2-shot. So he's thinking about it. He's like, oh, man.
All right, he's out. That's a good sign for him.
Yeah, we're like, that's the play from our side. But from his side, he's like, all right, we dipped out on 6. We dipped out on 2. There's no item in there. 5. We're going back in 5 now. So... I don't know if he's going to dip out of the item. Is here? No, he got the item. I'm sorry, he got the item out of here already.
Yeah, Sparkle's also picking up his key in 6, and did save it by ferrying over the door, and that's going to give him one additional cast of... Sorry, I would say one additional cast of Fairy. He got Magic 5 from beating P6, so that's going to make just an absolute world of difference here in his ability to cleanly get to Guma without taking too many deaths.
Yeah, and he wasn't in here too long ago, so he should absolutely remember the way to get there.
Yeah, and when you remember the way, or when you have 3 casts of Fairy instead of 1, like not only are you not in danger of getting stuck, but he's got a lot more capability of just using Fairy to, like, if he finds a room that's like really tough and he doesn't want to deal with it, just cast Fairy, go over it.
Exactly. And I mean, you go from 3 casts of Fairy across 3 lives to 9 casts of Fairy across 3 lives. So there you go. You get hit on the bridge. Would have been a death had he wasted his Fairy cast to get through that first door the previous time he was in here, and wouldn't have been able to get through this door or anything like that. So yeah, super. I mean, it's coming in handy. He's right to Guma first life. He's got 2 in reserve. He's ready to go.
Yeah, and if he can get this clear, he's only going to be a little bit behind traiLZ.
Yeah, I was going to say he's ready to go, but I really wanted to see him ready to go in this position maybe 10 minutes ago. You know, we're approaching the 40-minute mark here, and traiLZ has 3 palaces down, and he's well on his way to figuring out wherever this eastern connection is.
Yeah, it's hard to engage in hypotheticals as far as what would have happened if this or that. But if Sparkles would have gotten Guma on his first time in here, honestly, he'd probably be in Death Mountain right now. Probably I would say on a 30 seconds to a minute ahead of traiLZ, maybe. Well, traiLZ is still still like, this routing isn't necessarily strictly better for traiLZ because traiLZ still has to go back to the west anyway.
You're reading my mind. You're reading my mind.
If traiLZ doesn't go back to get the boots, Sparkles gets this clear, goes to Death Mountain, and it turns out that the raft is just east across that little lake at the start of Death Mountain. That's going to be huge if traiLZ has to do a whole Death Mountain dig that Sparkles could just skip.
Yeah, you're right. When traiLZ is in here, he's digging around thinking, oh wait, he's gonna have the hammer. I wonder if he's going back for those 2 boulder blocked caves, because that's 2 item caves. That's 2 items. Did traiLZ get the hint for the boots? It was down.
I don't know if he did
I don't remember either. Because it was on King's Tomb. The old woman gave us that hint, if I'm not mistaken, and that was in the southwest corner of the western biome there. So I don't know if he walked down that far. I don't know if he checked it.
All right. Whew, last life, last hit. Sparkles does take down Guma.
I was trying not to talk about it there because I didn't want to be the responsible.
Either. Okay.
Yeah.
So traiLZ is checking this hammer cave, as we knew conclusively this had to be hammer cave, just off to the side here. So this is another place where, obviously, unless this is the glove, in which case it's going to be a blowout, another place where Sparkles skipping out on something could potentially lead to him saving some time, getting ahead.
It's funny, we keep saying skipping out on things, but it just, at some point, as the runner from Sparkles' position, his perspective, if you're skipping everything, you have to be a little concerned at some point, thinking, gosh, I wonder if I really skipped something amazing with all these locations I do happen to be skipping. But then again, I don't know, maybe you just rush the east and hope that the glove is just sitting somewhere in the open, readily available to grab and then go.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, right? If you're Sparkles, you're like, I know my combat's not as good as traiLZ, because no one's combat's as good as traiLZ except for, maybe Mirai, and you've already taken a game over that's cost. Oh,
dude, that would have helped Sparkles so much 20 minutes ago. He just gone into
if he had just gone in there, he would have had the magical key. He would have had a ton more resource. It hurts.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah. But yeah, it's if you know that you're not going to be as fast as traiLZ at combat, you got to figure, well, what's my plan to win this race? Is it try to be really efficient on my routing? Is it try to do different routing, or is it trying to gamble? And Sparkles has taken some gambles here,
absolutely,
and they seem to be paying off.
I want him to go in the water.
The lake.
Yeah, go in the water up here. Good.
Okay. He's gonna check Hammer Cave. This makes sense. It's gonna be a little sad that he didn't get it earlier, but it's still gonna be nice to pick up. And again, if this were the glove, like, who knows?
Yeah, the raft tile could still be here on the south. No, I guess not.
Okay.
The river ends there.
So completely useless river is good news for traiLZ.
Yeah, it looks like he could just go north in the cave that is just above the Maze Island Bridge there and still stay along the coast. Because traiLZ knows at this. Oh, wait. Does he know? Does he know the other connector? He did. He must have checked that on Maze Island.
Yeah, I didn't see if he checked it, but I saw he was right next to it, so I have to assume that he.
I don't know how we keep missing that one cave in the middle of Maze Island. What everyone's doing with it.
Well, we saw Sparkles did eventually.
Yeah.
That was just the dead end to Death Mountain again. Okay, trail's finding the second item here in Death Mountain. Is this the glove? It is.
Wow.
Okay, so Sparkles has gone from maybe ahead to way behind to slightly behind.
Yeah, this is going to show us more along the coast. We're going to see if there are raft tiles right here. It looks like it's probably not boots blocked, but if it's boots locked at all, then it's in Sparkles' favor right now. Oh, no.
Oh, okay,
no.
There's the raft. To answer a question from chat, yeah, there is a spell. There's a couple of spells that provide some safety. There's a life spell that will recover some life, and a shield spell that doubles your defense for one screen, but our runners are, given that they weren't easily available quickly, Sparkles you might see pick them up. traiLZ absolutely will not pick them up unless they are 100% on his way. It's just matter of how much time is it going to take you to go grab it versus how much safety is it going to provide you. And traiLZ is a big fan of just don't get hit. Which is easier said than done.
Yeah, as we enter the east, we can see that there's some water to walk south. And so I wonder if Sparkles is going to take this southern path immediately and see if this leads to somewhere that might be secluded on our eastern continent.
Oh man, if it's me, I'm absolutely doing it. If you have the boots and you think if you think the other guy might not have boots, then absolutely take the water. Use what you have to your advantage. If it turns out that section is required or provides something valuable early, great, right? You just differentiated yourself in a positive way. If it turns out that the other runner did get the boots, well, whatever. It's still the best path to go because there's no encounters on the water.
Yeah, exactly. Interestingly enough, traiLZ went into Nibiru to grab Spell, whereas Sparkles saw it and just dipped out. And I'm wondering what traiLZ might be thinking is in Spell Tower at this point.
Yeah, well, he didn't get the. It's likely that he didn't get the boots hint, and with him not having the boots hint, he's thinking, well, I still need to keep picking up items because maybe those boots are required.
Or I'm sorry, if the medicine cemetery tracker man pointing that out could be the medicine
in the east. We're of course.
We're
very
on top
silly.
of things.
Yeah. It definitely could be those boots, or it could be the absolutely required item that he knows is in the east.
Yeah, I mean, that's another one of those gambles, though. I mean, these are huge gambles, and so far, Sparkles, I'm sure when he saw that glove in Spec Rock, he's like, that's a huge relief. I didn't see what was in 6. I don't care what's in 6. I don't care what's in 2. I'm not going back there. I don't even know if he confirmed 2 was glove blocked. I think he just left 2 at that point, so he doesn't even know that the item was glove blocked, and that was
he did see the glove block. He did the same routing traiLZ did, where he saw it right away.
Oh yeah, he saw the glove block, but I wasn't sure if he exhausted the remaining route after.
He did not. He knows that the glove is black is likely, but I don't think he knows it's guaranteed.
Okay, so heart on water tile. That's going to even up him with traiLZ grabbing the heart out of 6.
Yeah, but from Sparkle's perspective, he's in no mode at this point. He knows the only thing that is still remaining for him to pick up is that medicine. Unfortunately, it's kind of a lot of double dipping that our runners are going to have to make in this seed, because we do know that 4 is going to be here in the east, but the medicine is in the. It's up 4's on Maze Island? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I do believe so.
Okay, well, still, our runners are going to have to pick up the medicine from the east and then up A back to the west, go and get their reflect spell, up A again, go into Maze Island. Probably not an up A, probably just a walk it. I think it's relatively close.
Yeah, it might be. Oh yeah, it's right next to Mito. Yeah.
All right, so both our runners picking up upstab, not having jump definitely makes sense.
Yeah, jump could be New Kasudo at this point. Could be, I guess that's it. I guess New Kasudo is where our jump spell is.
Have we seen old Kasudo?
We did, just on Sparkles' side there. Oh, he picked up jump. That's where jump was. Jeez. So
I'm
life.
kind of surprised with Upstab and Fairy already that traiLZ is going to spend the time to pick up Jump, but
I mean, Jump is. I mean, it's right here. It's hard to.
He did it because he wanted to. He wanted to get a fire check.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That makes a lot more sense. traiLZ still hasn't seen what spell is linked to fire, and he's thinking, well, if fire is where we're increasingly looking like, odds are increasing that fire is linked to reflect, and if that's the case, he could avoid that whole trip back to the west, which would be a huge time save.
I think fire is in Rudo, because I think New Kasuto is going to be life unless I have those flipped.
I don't. It's difficult to keep track of all these in my head without a tracker, and traiLZ, of course, does not have a tracker on screen, so I can't. Okay, Spark's picking up shield spell with his kid.
Yeah, traiLZ opting not to grab shield, if I'm not mistaken. When he just grabbed upstab and got out of there, I believe.
Yeah, again, if you just don't get hit, everything's fine.
Yeah, 5 heart containers. I don't know. Those birds in GP, if they hit you for over 2 hearts, I mean, that might be a 2-shot if you're hugging those things.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge fan of the shield spell, but traiLZ a lot more confident in his combat than me, and for good reason.
Yeah, we're looking in these desert tiles here, and this is what Sparkles needs is the medicine to be on the desert tile or to be accessible via the basement in New Kasuto, because he's already gambled on spell, no spell tower for him. And I'm sorry, there could be 2 item caves here. We looked in one. One of them was magic container, so we're still missing the other one.
Yeah, we still haven't seen Sunken Peabag Cave. traiLZ gets a spotting of a river devil actually doing his job for once in this mountainous biome.
Rare.
Is he blocking something important? Who knows? But I think we're definitely going to see, barring this being the medicine and traiLZ just immediately up-Aing out of this cave, we are going to see him go give us a toot and check out what's behind it.
Yeah, have we seen the third palace? We saw, we just saw GP outside of Death Valley. We have the Death Valley Palace, and then we have the third palace here on the west. And I mean, location-wise,
I don't believe we've seen it.
Okay, I'm still rooting for the water section to be hiding that.
Yeah, I mean, our runners have seen a lot of different ways. They sort of started in the center of the east side, checked the whole north side, and then headed south to the southwest portion of the east here. But we still haven't seen any kind of a way over to the southeast, and it's probably those boots. The bad news for Sparkles is that once traiLZ finishes finding the last of what he's looking for in the east, if he figures those boots are required and he doesn't have anywhere else to go, his next stop is going to be to up-A. Yeah. And he's going to very quickly, even without the hint, if I had to say, well, where's Fairy going to be, or where the boot's going to be, I was like, well, the first thing I'm going to check is the Hammer Cave I know is right next to start, and that's going to be it. And even with all of that, it makes Sparkles' decision not to check the water early, even more unfortunate, because if he does, even Sparkles here being like, okay, I'm going to check all of my stuff. And you look at all of this northern area and southwest area, and you're like, okay, well, it isn't here. I know it's in the southeast, and I know I need to take the boots to get to the southeast, and then realize, well, now I have to walk all the way back around everything I've checked in the east instead of just taking that, that quick little road at the start. So, yeah, have we seen Death Valley? Have we seen access to Death Valley yet? We've seen Death Valley. It's sort of in the center west. Okay. I'm not sure if we've seen a way into it. Death Valley can be, I think we should see Sparkles pass by it on his way up here. If I recall correctly.
traiLZ.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that cave is probably the entrance. And I think at this point, traiLZ is pretty determined that he's not going to be able to make any progress further in here. So he is going to take this cave and take a check on what this palace is. Probably, I mean, I guess clear it regardless of what it actually ends up being.
Yeah, it's 1 or 3. So this is going to be super short palace in here. No glove blocks at this point to be concerned about. No fairy blocks, anything like that. This is just going to be a get in there, beat the boss, and get out. Although, if traiLZ is maybe thinking boots at this point, he might be digging an item out of there if it's not on the way to the boss.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, if traiLZ is going into Valley of Death, he's pretty much determined, well, this is the last thing I'm doing on the west. I might as well clear it while I'm here, but then I'm taking it up A. And because like nobody wants to walk out of Valley of Death, even with fairy feet and a fairly cheap fairy. It's a bit of a time. Just P1 here should be a quick one.
Yeah, traiLZ mapping out all. I mean, both of our runners mapping out all the east, but traiLZ not having the boots and getting even a chance to check the water south of the entrance of the eastern continent here. He knows he's missing New Kasuto. He knows that he's missing the desert tile. There's 2 things there with 3 items between the 2 spots. So I have I don't think he's forgotten about that spot that he would have seen. He knows these biomes. Anyone who plays enough, as much as traiLZ does, that you're going to recognize that immediately when you walk in, that there's kind of a chunk of land that's been cut out and there's water, and it's like, okay, boots might be a thing here. So I would definitely wager that he is looking for these boots.
Yeah, and the good news for traiLZ is that Boots hint is not going to hurt him. Like he's gonna clear this palace out and find the item, but him not having the hint for the boots isn't going to cost him that much because P1 is our shortest palace, and it's not going to cost him a ton of time. But though again, this is a place where Sparkles is going to be able to gain a little bit of time back because he knows that the item in 1 is definitely going to be useless.
Yeah, assuming that stuff is down there through the water and not through some pass through that neither one of our runners have taken at this point. I wonder if we're going to see a gamble on Trophy Fire.
Okay,
No?
traiLZ is walking out. He must think there's some kind of connector that he didn't find, and there definitely could be.
Yeah, to finish the thought that I had is that just, both of us wanting Sparkles to go south in the water there, if that's where the medicine was accessible, I mean, that would have been huge. That would have been probably a moment to immediately up an A, go back and turn to the medicine, do P4 on Maze Island, and then just finish off on the east here. And that would have been Sparkles probably taking the lead at that point if that was available, like not spell tower blocked,
Yeah, instead, he is going to also walk out, although this... I like this walk a lot for him because he knows exactly where he wants to check next. He's I'm sure he's thinking, okay, there's that water at the start. I haven't found another path. It's got to be that. This is the fastest way back to it because in up A he'd have to go through all of Maze Island. Well, I don't actually know because the fastest route to the transport cave, it leads to Maze Island in the west, is not that. Once you have the boots, there's a much faster route where you don't have to take as many pass-throughs.
I think it's comparable. As long as you can get out of here quickly with fairy feet, you can get through this 2-screen cave, and then just shoot back to the coast there where it all where you entered in. I think it's kind of comparable. Oh, desert tile was available.
Okay.
Is that no? Okay.
Okay. I mean, traiLZ may have found that earlier and just grabbed it now because he wanted to fill up on magic, but traiLZ is double checking here, but I guess he wants to clear out this palace here too. I mean, sure, why not? It's a palace.
It's GP.
Oh, this is GP? Yeah.
Yeah.
Man. Well, he still hasn't found the second palace. Yeah, I'm a little surprised traiLZ second guessing himself here, not really sure if he missed something or not, but
I mean, this is what Sparkles needs, is for traiLZ to be kind of stuck looking around. He's also thinking about that water tile, thinking boots are somewhere for that water tile, possibly where our medicine is at.
Yeah, but traiLZ is just covering over ground that he's already checked before. Then
again, if he does go back for a fire check, I mean, I don't know if that's a huge gamble. That's a big gamble because as we know, the tether doesn't always work nicely in reverse. Like if it's a fire thunder, you don't get thunder and then get the fire spell.
Sometimes it's a little buggy. Don't really know what causes that.
Okay, we're going to see this. Come on, Sparkles. Notice that. Go south. Oh,
okay.
Here we go.
Yep, Sparkles remembered. He's going to check this. And what do we got? We got some forest.
Wow, this is a trip down here.
Yep, and some good old Dig Shake approved swamp.
I love segmented biomes like this. They're annoying when you miss them, but wow.
I love that the path to the boots was so complex here, and I mean this is everything we needed, right? Here's New Kasuto. Here's our last palace.
Oh,
7.
So are we getting a magic? Oh, so he has skipped so many items. He's thinking I'm missing a magic container from somewhere I already skipped. That's not true because traiLZ only has 6 as well. Maybe there's one sitting in 3 right next door here.
Yeah, man. If it turns out that Sparkles needs spell, this is going to be a wild race.
Wow, yeah, that's jeez.
And then Sparkles has got to be thinking, the other 7 containers, I've skipped so many items. Man, it's wild. Absolutely wild. The biggest question for me at this point is how long does traiLZ tread over this ground that he's gone over before he realizes, wait a second, I definitely need the boots.
Yeah. I was just going to mention that because it's like we just talked about how traiLZ would likely recognize that, but as much as he's kind of combing over all of the East again here, I wonder if he did recognize that. Maybe he did right in the beginning and you just forgot about it as you walked away. I don't know. He's cleared out everything else he's had an option to other than 2. Now that he's got the glove, I wonder if we'll see him go back to 2 to try to find the item in 2. Here we go.
Yep. I think he's got to check this first hammer cave. It's even if he wanted to check 2, the hammer cave is literally on the way to 2. You're just gonna be like, oh yeah, that cave. I'm gonna check it.
Yeah, and I wonder if we'll see a trophy turn in for Fire as he walks into Raru there.
Yeah. I mean, I might have at this point, but again, this cave is so tempting. It's right next to start. It's on the way to everything else. And he's gonna find his boots. And when he finds it, I'm sure a light bulb is gonna go off and he's like, yes, this is the way forward.
It will depend on what he checks first, though, because with that water tile, if he hits the East again and then checks the water tile first, it's just going to be a heart. And if the 7th magic container is sitting here in 3, and then Sparkles gets the medicine out of the medicine out of the basement, and then he's going to have access to that, and he's still technically going to be a little bit in the lead then, routing wise.
You know what's a terrifying thought? What if the 7th container is in Spell Tower?
Oh wow.
Get some vanilla action up in here.
Well, there's got to be an 8th container somewhere.
Yeah, but the 8th container could be in 4.
Or 4, yeah, 2 or 4. Well, that's all right. I'm a little terrified. You're right.
Okay, what is traiLZ doing?
I think he's looking for.
I think he might be just looking for a faster way to the south.
Oh, he's got that other hammer. He's got that other boulder block cave that's on the south side of this vanilla. Like he's going to go down and then west, I think here. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was just looking for a cleaner way down to the south, but unfortunately, you sort of have to take that one road. Okay, we are going to get a fire check.
Yeah, I could be wrong about that cave or that other hammer block cave, which I don't know if Sparkles did check that on the west, which would be, I guess, at this point. Magic Container Cave, if that actually had a magic container in it today.
I do not remember if he checked it or not.
And I don't, His tracker, he's in broadcast mode on the tracker, so it doesn't really tell us anything cave-wise if he's checked all the caves.
All right, traiLZ is going to make his sword shoot fire. It's only 8. And fire is spell. traiLZ cast the spell as his fire check. If he had done that before heading into town, would have saved himself about a minute here, but...
Yeah, I mean, he was cruising. Like, I've been in this position before. You're cruising, and then you kind of come to a halt in your progression, and you're like, what is available to me? What is available?
Well,
he's going to check this cave.
Second. No, he's just passing through it. I think he knows at this point. He's got his boots. He's fairly near where the pass-through cave is. I don't remember exactly where it is in this area, but very nice little pause timing there to get an encounter skip from traiLZ.
I was watching Sparkles in this double generator room here. This is a terrible room. He's got square wave heads in here.
Yeah, well, thankfully only one of the generator enemies is scary. Sparkle's doing some nice turnarounds. Ooh, okay, got a little messed up, but...
Yeah, you can't let these heads pile up, because then you just got a bunch of bullets flying across the screen at different intervals, and you're just going to take a bop at some point. This is where you start breaking out thunder strats and clearing the screen of all projectiles and enemies.
Yeah, I really like fire strats as well. Of use fire to clear the way. Obviously, he doesn't have that, but...
This is our item room here. Drum roll. Oh, no!
Oh. And so Sparkles he's got to find a magic container, and at this point, we're very rapidly just running out of spots. I don't think... Have we seen Risen P-Back Cave yet?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so it's either going to be Spell Tower, 2 or 4, or I think our only remaining checks, unless nobody checked that Hammer Cave. But I have to imagine
that's true.
Sparkles would have checked it.
Yeah, so he's getting Spell now, and
this is sort of a natural first check.
If it's still not it, like, he's not necessarily behind. I don't know what traiLZ is looking for in Death Mountain here.
Did he forget that he already found Hammer Cave?
I have no idea.
Even if he did forget that he already had Hammer Cave, he has all the required items. He's in go mode.
traiLZ has definitely been in Hammer Cave. He showed us first that it was the magic key.
Yeah, pretty good item. And he's already found... we've seen both connector caves. I don't know where traiLZ... Maybe traiLZ forgot about that second connector cave in the middle of Maze Island. He's thinking that there's a second connection to the east.
I mean, that's really my only other guess as well. But you walk right by it on Maze Island. Unless when he came into Maze Island, did he actually just take the water over to the bridge? Because maybe he forgot about that cave right in the middle of Maze Island.
He was definitely right next to it at some point.
I mean, this is a high stakes race, so anything, is possible. You're moving so fast, and then you're kind of stuck on progression. Like, what am I missing? What am I missing? What am I missing? And you're trying to run through things, and I don't know, short-term memory, it's in and it's out. You see something, you're like, I'm going to remember that, and it's gone 30 seconds later, and you forget about it. I mean, we've all been there. Yeah,
well, while traiLZ sort of floats around not finding where to go here, Sparkles has taken the lead.
Yeah, if this is the medicine, this is Sparkles' game to lose at that point. It's just a push forward.
Yeah, if this is a magic container, then okay. Oof.
Wow.
I was saying, like, there's not that many items left in the pool, and there's the medicine, which would be obviously great because it's the last item Sparkles needs. There's 2 magic containers still in the pool, which would let him check the only other remaining check in the east, which we would know would definitely be the medicine.
Yeah.
Right? Like the odds were significantly better than 50% there. I think there's like 4 or 5 items left in the pool, and 3 of them would have led immediately to him getting the medicine. And so, yeah, Sparkles is going to be able to pick up his reflect, and traiLZ is still just okay. He found an alternate connection. He's gonna go up the coast, please, traiLZ.
Does he not remember the raft tile? I don't know what's happening here. traiLZ is, I mean, he's definitely confused, right? He's definitely confused. Now that he's got these boots, he needs to just go back east, and I'm pretty sure he knows that.
Maybe again. He definitely he walked right past it. He definitely knows there aren't any more pass-throughs here.
Well, he also
I mean, this is a thing I've done before. It's something that can happen to any of our runners, right? Probably what's happened is he went east, came in on his raft, and then immediately just said, okay, well, there's only one path forward. I'll go ahead and take it. Not thinking, hey, what does my coast look like? Because, you don't have boots. You don't need to think about the coast. And then just completely forgetting, oh man, I came in via the raft on the coast. There's some coast I can follow.
Yeah, I could have swore he was just up there on this first dig through Death Mountain just a moment ago. He was just up by that coast. Did he not see that raft tile again?
I think he. I don't know. Right?
I mean, we're trying to come up with excuses. We just have no idea.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Sparkles got reflect. He's going to be in P4 in just a sec here.
Yeah, if Karak is not buried, and this is a quick P4, he's going to be in GP in the next 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay, traiLZ going up the coast.
Not taking the raft.
He thinks there's he hasn't figured out that both of the connectors just lead to Death Mountain. He's looking for another connector to the east.
Yeah, I mean, you come in from a cave to Maze Island, so there's one of your caves. He has checked the other cave now on Maze Island. Here we go.
Here's traiLZ taking the raft,
and Karak literally two rooms into P4.
Immediately, he's shaking his head. He immediately realized what he had done wrong.
Yeah, I'm interested. He didn't go water tile first, so that's good.
Yeah, but within about a minute and a half here, Sparkles is going to be into GP, and traiLZ has got, admittedly, some very short palaces, but 2 palaces to clear.
Yeah, 3 is going to be quick for him. Like he's like 3 is going to be quick, and then he's just going to walk all the way back to 4. But he's going to see that he needs 7. He's going to wonder, oh no.
Yeah, but he's got the spell. You don't oh no until you check Spell Tower, and it isn't vanilla.
Well, he's been a little stuck here, and so at that point you're thinking, oh, my bad luck's going to continue, and it's going to be 7 containers, isn't it?
Yeah, because if it is 7 containers from traiLZ's perspective, the only places he has left to check are 2 and 4, and I don't think he wants to check either of those.
Or 3. He still has 3 as well. They're just next to Nukasuto. But yeah, anyway, whatever. He's about to find his medicine, figured all that other stuff. But I mean, how long has he been looking around for this stuff? That was at least 15 minutes. That was a long time to be walking around and checking DM and all of that stuff. That's like a solid 15 minutes at that point. And that is 100% what Sparkles needed to happen, because here he is in GP. You giving us the timestamp there, 70:42 walking into GP. traiLZ still has 2 palaces to go, 2 gems to place, and then he'll be in here as well. So Sparkles is going to have a bit of an advantage in exploration in GP.
The good news for traiLZ is that both of these remaining 2 palaces are absolute jets. If I remember correctly, this P3 is literally go down the elevator and you're done, and P4 slightly longer.
Oh wow, that's very fast then.
Apparently my memory is not great. I remember this palace being fast, but it's still. Yeah. I mean, it's again when you've got 2 palaces to go, and then Sparkles is already in GP. It's going to be at least a 5-minute lead here. Okay, you go down the second elevator, you're done, right? My memory's good? No? Okay, I don't remember anything.
Oh, that's how I feel sometimes. It's like, what? Wait, I thought this palace was a lot smaller, but and then I guess depending on the way he goes, maybe he'll find the item before he finds the boss. I'm not sure. I don't know where.
Okay.
I don't know where Rebo was.
Sparkles is gambling on a left.
He's got a 4-way here.
Okay, so we've got definitely an open GP.
Uh-oh.
Oh, there's a Thunderbird. That left paying off.
This is pretty big. Sparkles absolutely feels behind, I would imagine. Little does he know that he is a solid few minutes ahead here.
Yeah, you go. When you take a left right away, and there's T-Bird immediately, you're pumping the fist. It's like, all right. Especially when it's 112 and you see traiLZ still hasn't done yet. It's like, wait, am I going to win this race?
Yeah, for real.
But yeah, Sparkle's going to take down T-Bird first.
Trails walking into Rebanak's room here. Both of our runners at the same levels, although Trails, we'll see if Trails feels behind enough to burn gems at this point. I don't know. He does tend to let the gems build up experience to get those last levels, but I don't know. After all of that walking around, I wonder how he feels.
Burn it. I think he's got to figure that he's behind at this point with all that, wasted time from his perspective. No, he's placing it. All right, Trail's making me look silly.
Trail placing the 5th gem as Thunderbird down for Sparkles here. We'll see how much further Darklink is into this particular palace.
Yeah, I mean, burning gems is one of those things where it's like, is going from life 6 to life 7 worth 10 seconds? Oh, probably, but if you're Trails and you're trying to squeeze out every second you can, and you think you're going to be comfortable not taking any game overs in GP even with life 6, then yeah, sure, right? Like, burn the gem and save some time. Any amount of time you could save is big. We've seen a number of races already this tournament decided by extremely, extremely slim margins.
Absolutely. Single digits in terms of seconds here. Single digits.
Yep. Having lost one of our races this tournament to seeing my opponent dot as I'm entering Darklink's room, maybe I could have burned a couple gems.
Yeah, I'm a gem burner myself, and people always ask me, why are you burning those gems? Don't you want those levels? And I'm like, man, I've had too many close finishes. We're just going to go. It's time to go. But I mean, for anyone who wants those levels, take those levels, right? Take those levels. But again, we're at a stage of the tournament where comfort zone is not at all guaranteed.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta go fast, right? And I mean, it is definitely a strategy you can employ to just say, well, I'm gonna play how I normally do. I'm not gonna take any risks, and I'm gonna hope my opponent screws up. And it's working so far for Sparkles.
Yeah,
but it's all about finding the right gambles to take, and hoping your skill can carry you.
Yeah, I mean, this would have been an absolutely different seed had the glove been in 6, had the glove been anywhere else other than easily accessible Spec Rock. Those gambles could have easily cost Sparkles, but they have helped him. Like, every gamble of the way here has really, really been in his favor. And even with that slower start, Trails stumbling a little bit there for, again, a solid 10, maybe even 15 minutes. Oh, wow.
Yep. And there, that really open GP right off the bat turned into a pretty linear stretch right after you found Thunderbird. And
wow.
It did end at 115, but we're not going to go too much longer. It's going to be 116 and change here probably for Sparkles.
Holy jeez. What, oh my God, what a game.
And it looks like we're going to have a game 3, which is what everyone was hoping for.
Yeah. Wow, this is amazing. Yeah, GG to Sparkles official race time.gg race room time. That's a mouthful of 76 minutes, 25 seconds there.
And Trails going to throw in the towel.
I imagine we will absolutely get Sparkles in here without a doubt. I'm sure he wants to talk about this particular seed.
Yeah, Trails is heading back to bed, and I definitely understand. This is late/early for him.
Interestingly enough, Trail's not going to be joining us yet for the interview, but he is recapping a little bit for what he was doing there in Death Mountain. He's saying in the race room, he spent like 15 minutes in DM looking for the connector, and he says there was no connector, just walk down the coast, and he's referring to the raft tile. Now, interestingly enough, we saw him digging around for the connector after he had already taken a trip to the east at that point, so he had already taken that raft ride in the past, So, and he had walked by the raft at least one time, if not twice, digging around that DM there. Joined by Sparkles, our race winner, GG Sparkles.
Thank you.
That Yeah. Give us your thoughts here. Give us all your thoughts. You've got the setup here. Trail's not going to be joining us, so it's all you. Tell us all about this seed from your perspective, and then we'll fill you in from our perspective. Sorry, go ahead.
That fairy at 68 was killer.
But it came down big time at Magic 5.
It came down, yeah. Because I got to Aguma and I didn't have enough for fairy, and I game overed on him, and I was like, I think I would have had to die anyway because I didn't have enough magic to cast fairy, even if I killed him at that point.
Yeah, we were seeing the same thing on our side. We weren't sure what the bosses were dropping, and then Cemetery, I think, was tracking. He confirmed that it was just jars.
We were really hoping when you went to Death Mountain the first time, there was that cave pointing west right at the start, and we were like, well, that's got to be a pass-through or an item, and you didn't end up checking it. And we're like, man, I hope that's nothing important. And then when traiLZ later came there and found out there was magic cookie, it was like, oh no.
Yeah, because I got both the connectors out of Maze Island led to Death Mountain, and I was like, I do not want to be digging Death Mountain at this point. And I knew the boots were still in the west, and I just got the hammer. And so at that point, I was like, well, maybe if I get the boots, I can just walk around, just walk through Death Mountain and avoid a very costly Death Mountain dig. So I noped out of there immediately. Had I just gone and picked up that key, I probably could have saved a lot of time on the first 3 palaces.
Yeah, traiLZ was digging. He began digging 2, which was short. If you didn't have the glove, neither when you had the glove when you went in there, there's the glove lock to the right, and then Helmet had, I think, 1 or 2 rooms to the left, elevator up, and he was right there. And other than that, though, I think that's when traiLZ got Magic 5, and then he was in P5. Something right around that time is when he got Magic 5, and that's when we noticed it dropped very, very low. And we're talking on our end, we're like, Sparkles needs that level. He needs to get to Magic 5 ASAP, because this is what is slowing him down, is 1 cast of fairy in all these doors.
Yeah, the 68 fairy is about as high as it goes. I don't think I've seen it much higher.
Now, when it came to all the gambles you were taking, because you dipped out of 2 without looking for the item, you dipped out of, you got the cross out of 5. It was kind of just on the way. You dipped out of 6.
When I picked up the cross, I had forgotten I got the clue. I was like, what's this? And it's like the cross. I'm like, oh, I got that clue. I just wasted a ton of time picking that up. And I didn't have the candle, so it's really useless. Probably 45 seconds of tactical death right there I could have saved.
Yeah, you and traiLZ both got the hint, and you both picked the cross up out of 5 as well. So it happens. You get the hint, and you totally just forget about it. You're like, oh, we're not going to get the item out of 5. But then, of course, you do. But there were a lot of gambles there. And so, I mean, there were a lot of gambles. And, you walked into New Kasuto, and the magic lady was like, hey, we need 7 to get in the basement. And you didn't have spells. So you're going into 3, hoping for a magic container in 3, just a pee bag. And then you go get spell, and happened to be spell tower medicine. But, yeah, it could have been 7 magic containers. And so if it was 7 magic containers, where were you headed back to next?
That's a great question, because I was running out of places. And I don't think I ever found the desert tile. I don't know. Did you guys notice where the desert tile was? I don't think I found it.
The desert tile was just to the west when you came into the east on the raft. You basically went straight west, but the item that it had was a red jar. So you might have found it and thought, oh, this might have been one of the other ones, but it was just a small item that rolled into a red jar.
Then I don't know, because I skipped the item in 6, I skipped the item in 2, and I skipped the item in 1. And maybe I shouldn't have skipped the item in 1, but I obviously felt way behind at that point. As I took every left I could in GP, because at that point I was like, I have to be way behind at this point. Let's gamble.
Yeah, and to be fair, the gambles definitely ended up paying off a lot. You were sort of behind at the beginning, and then especially with that death to P5, but then you gained back a ton of time in 6 from finding Barba faster, and also traiLZ dug out the item there, and you basically gained back all the time you lost from that game over by just a quicker 6. And up until the point where traiLZ sort of got lost, with the boots, you were pretty even for a good part of the middle of the seed.
Is when the seed generated, the East took an absurd amount of time to generate. I don't know if you guys tried generating that seed, but the East just churned for like 20 seconds, and I knew it was going to be a rough time. Anyway, I got to the point where I didn't know where else to go, and I was like, I had seen a seed once where there was like one river or one water tile that you had to like walk around, and I was like, well, maybe that's one of these situations where you're gonna walk like down one water tile around to some area that you can't get to otherwise, which turned out to be the case.
Yeah, we were hoping that you would recognize that right as you walked in and do that check for us, because you hit the East with the boots. I guess we can maybe talk about the way that you routed it versus traiLZ. Is that when you had the hammer off of Maze Island, you headed back to you got done with Maze Island and you didn't head into Death Mountain at that point. You came back to the west. You checked at least one of the boulder block caves, which of course was Medicine Cave. Was it Medicine Cave into Boots, I think is what it was. Did you check the other boulder blocked cave?
No, I didn't. And
Okay.
part of the reason was I couldn't remember where it was. I couldn't remember where the first palace I found was, or the other boulder blocked. And I kind of wanted to find that before I ventured off to Maze Island, but I couldn't find it. So I just ended up going to Maze Island rather than trying to double back and go over a bunch. Fortunately, it's kind of on the way to Mito.
Yeah, so we didn't see what was in that magic container cave at all either, because traiLZ didn't check it either. So yeah, you came back. So you had the boots at that point. You had a hint for the boots on the west as well. Is that what made you come back and check those caves? Okay.
Yeah, because I was like, when you get to Death Mountain, there was the water on the left-hand side behind what turned out to be a hammer cave. And so I did not want to listen. If you're like, if the game is pushing me to go dig Death Mountain, I'm gonna try to avoid digging Death Mountain every time. And at that moment, I was like, well, I have the hammer. I know the boots are over here. Let's go dig the boots and see if that doesn't shortcut the entire Death Mountain. And it did. Like, boots eliminated Death Mountain entirely. It was a walk up the coast to both get the spectacle rock for the glove, and the raft tile was right there.
Yeah, so that was huge. You had the hint. traiLZ did not have the hint that the boots were on the west, and so he kept kind of clearing things in the east. I mean, you were both clearing things in the east, but I know that traiLZ really wanted those boots. He saw the water tile and couldn't access it. You saw it, and of course, it was just a heart. But you both had medicine on the east somewhere, which means those 6 locations. Although they're quite scattered in the ways that you access those, and so. You're both walking around the east, and at some point, you're both in Death Valley. You're both in P3 was in Death Valley. P1 was in Death. I think P1 was in Death Valley. So you both walked out, and then traiLZ continued to come over the east just to double check and triple check some areas to make sure that he wasn't missing anything. And you walked it back to the water there, and that's when you went south. And that was, of course, where the tables turned at that point, because traiLZ, as you probably assumed with that kind of slow start you had, he had a good lead, but not having the boots and not being able to find those boots and having that segmented east today via the water path was really what ultimately put you in the lead at that point. And traiLZ, he came back to the west. He gambled on trophy. He had the trophy. He gambled on trophy being because it was fire, that it was going to be reflect, but he did cast spell right around the time he got the fire spell. And of course, fire was spell today. So that didn't work out for him. It was not fire reflect. And when he came back to Death Mountain, as he was talking about in the race room, he just never went back to the raft tile. He dug around Death Mountain for many, many minutes looking for something. He was, I guess, convinced that the other cave led to the east, and it wasn't the raft tile, because he did not take the raft he took 2 different digs into Death Mountain, if I'm not mistake. I mean, he lost a ton of time combing over the east again and then going all through Death Mountain, all of the caves in Death Mountain without hitting up that raft tile. And we saw the raft tile on the screen. He might have just missed it. He might have forgotten about it. He might have thought it led somewhere else. I'm not sure at that point. Have no idea. Unable to really talk to him at this point about what he was going through his mind. But that is where you made up all that time, as traiLZ was just walking around the east and walking around Death Mountain. And you just kept chugging along slowly but surely. And it wasn't 7 magic containers for the basement medicine. It was spell tower medicine. You got that medicine back to the west, Tomedo, P4, and then out of there, right into GP.
I made the same exact mistake this time. You and I did a casual race last week, and I made the same mistake, and that is I got a hint that told me there was either medicine on the east and it was required. And I didn't pick up spell, and I didn't pick up spell this time. And not picking up spell in both cases, knowing that there was just an item on the east that was required, set me back in both cases. Had I picked up spell either time I passed it, it would have saved me several minutes there because I hopped out of P because then I wouldn't have dug P3. I would have already had the spell, so I walked back. Dug 3-3, walked back up, picked up spell, walked back down, found it. I mean, that's a ton of time. All right, new rule: if there's a required east item, just pick up spell if it's free. Just pick it up while you're there. Don't walk by it.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. Nibiru's probably I guess second longest item to grab out because you got to go to a fountain, then you got to talk to the lady and get access, but. I don't know, spell. It's one of those spells that you don't really want to pick up, but man, if there's something potentially in that spell tower, it's going to sit in the back of your mind and haunt you. Be like, I should have just picked up spell because when I see the spell tower, wait, it might just be my item. Yeah. And it sucks to be haunted like that.
One of the other things I did that really worked out was, I almost didn't pick up shield, but I had the child. I already was going there and deciding to get an upstab. And when I got to GP, those birds hit so hard, even with shield on. They were taking like 2 life bars, even with shield. So that choice really made a difference going into GP because I would have not have made it through there had I been taking those hits at full without shield.
Yeah, absolutely. We were talking about that in the seed as well because traiLZ had skipped shield in Darunia. And so he eventually did have 6 heart containers. I think you had 6 as well. And so it was kind of even in that regard. We were wondering if shield was going to come into play in case the life spell was not doing all that great today. And it didn't sound like it was.
I have a rule. I only pick up one of those safeties, life or shield, and I almost always want shield over life every day of the week. Shield always beats life.
My man.
Almost hands down.
I'm a huge fan of that particular strategy.
Well, thank you guys for commentating tonight. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
I'm going to get out of here, so you guys can wrap things up.
All right.
GG again, Sparkles.
Thank you.
That's it for me. I don't know if Elendar's got anything left. Otherwise,
nope, I'm all good.
So if we have nothing other to say, I want to thank everyone for being here. Thanks to the commentary, we had Elendar and we had Mirai. Thank you, both of you. You did an amazing job. Also, I want to thank the runner. We had today traiLZ versus Sparkles. So GG, both of you. It was an amazing race and quite tricky, if I can say. And thanks to the tracker, we had Cemetery and myself as the tracker. I hope you did enjoy the race, and we will see you maybe for the game 3. Goodbye, everyone!